Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my Flosstube. I'm Tracy, and I am Tracy Stitches on Instagram. You can find me at Wow Princess. And it's been about a month since I Flosstubed, but it's been a fairly productive month stitching-wise. And so I have quite a bit to show and plans for February coming up, which is just right around the corner. How are we already a month into this year is beyond me, but here we are. January kind of went by fast. I stayed very busy at work. There's a lot to do for our end of year and preparing for 2022 and all that goes along with that. Pretty much been staying home and running out for groceries when needed, and yeah, just staying safe. I hope everyone is staying safe as well with everything going on, and hopefully things will start to look up in the next couple months. That would be good news, right? So let's get into the stitching. I don't think my video will be very long today, maybe 15-20 minutes, and then move right along. It was brought to my attention from my last video that I forgot to show some Christmas haul from my mother. And so I do want to just real quick, she got me a couple of stitchy related things for Christmas. One was this needle minder. And of course I love Starbucks, so this is perfect. And then she got me a pair of Dovo scissors as well. So that was nice. I love these. So perfect gift. Thank you, Mother. And so that takes care of that. And then I have had some hauls since our last video. I've got more coming, but it hasn't made it yet. So I did put an order in for acorns and threads, and I actually just put that order in Wednesday night, and I already got it. I got it yesterday. And ironically, this morning, today's Sunday, January 30th, I'll be participating in acorn gathering, which starts in about 45 minutes. So, but I did put an order in. I needed some floss, which I'll talk about in a few minutes on something else. But I ended up picking up a couple charts because, as we all know, floss does not travel alone. So I got Little House Needleworks Rudolph's Sampler. I love that. I saw that on Instagram and didn't realize it was a Little House chart, and then was perusing on Acorn site and saw that, and I was like, oh yes. And then I ended up getting a Bendy Stitchy design. It's just a little, her little haunted ornament. I just thought it was cute. I had seen it on Instagram, I think when she put it out last fall, because I think this was an expo order maybe, or an expo item, but yeah, I thought that was super cute. So I ended up picking that up. So there's that. And then I am participating this year in Crazy Annie's 12 Days of Christmas Stocking Ornaments Club. So that kit came last week. So I got a big cut of fabric, half yard of fabric. It came with, you could order anything, any part of it that you wanted. I ordered the big cut of fabric. It came with vanilla chenille from Lady Dot Creates, and then it came with 2 packages of beads as well. Just some seed beads, glass seed beads, some red ones, and some white, off-white ones, pearl type ones. So it came with those, and then of course it came with the first chart, which is Partridge in a Pear Tree. So this I just got, I think it came Thursday, and I am going to start this month. I don't know when, but I'm going to start it this month. So for those of you who follow my BFF, Melissa, Stitcher Mel, she's already finished hers. So she started it right away, but I did not, but I will get it finished. I believe the second one is going to be mailed out already next week from Crazy Annie's. So then I'll have 2. So probably wait until that one comes, and then I'll just do them back to back because I think they're going to be really quick stitches, obviously. So anyway, I did have some finishes this month, but I can't show them. So know that I have 3 finishes so far for 2022, and I will show them when I can. That's really all I can say about that. It's kind of unfortunate because they're pretty cool, but that's okay. I'll show them when I can. There will be pictures, and I'll pop them in at some point later this year. So anyway, I did not have any new starts. I ended up not doing a New Year, New Start this year. I was working on the pieces that I finished, and I guess technically I probably could have counted one of those as my New Year, New Start, but it just was all part of the same thing almost, and so I just kept going. And anyway, so no official New Year, New Start for me this year, which is fine. I'll have a new start this month, in fact, or in February, in fact. So I did work on whips, and let's see. The first one was One Nation. I'm going to do the One Nation style this year, that like Janet Jabber did last year, and others have participated in, where you do 1 star, one state a month. For me, it's taken me a little bit to kind of get in the groove because there's just so much stitching that has to be done to get to that point where you can do that. So I started in the upper left corner on this particular piece, and let's see, yeah, and I got all the way across. You can see I just had like a blue line, this blue line, like not even all the way that far down. So I did all of the stars, so I got 6 stars in, and you can see that I've started 2 states. So my goal is, if I finish these 2 lines of states, that'll be 6 states as well. So by mid-February, I want to have these 2 lines done, because then that'll put me on track for 1 state, 1 star a week, and I'll be in a much better position to continue on. Now, one thing I have learned for myself is that I probably won't pull this out on a weekly basis and do 1 star, 1 state. What I think I'll probably end up doing is pulling it out once or twice a month, and just kind of working on it for a few days and getting it caught up. So I'll keep up with, 4 stars, 4 states a month type of situation, but I probably won't do it on a weekly basis, just because I don't think that's how I like to stitch necessarily. I kind of like to pull a piece out and work on it for several days, and if it's a week or more, then that's fine. I don't want to feel like I have to pull something out in the middle of a week to get it done. So I'm pretty happy with the way this looks. I will say that I'm on a total DMC conversion on this. I think the blue is 930. The red is the variegated 115. So there's going to be quite a bit of variegation in that red. And then for the white, the called for DMC was a crew, and I tried. But you could not see, this is ale, PTP, 3228 count maybe, ale, what is this? 28 count ale from Picture This Plus. And the A crew just, you couldn't see it. So I ended up doing about half of that first star in A crew, and was like, no. And so I pulled it out, and I went to just plain DMC white, not B5200 or anything like that, but just plain DMC white. So it shows much better, and it'll work. So anyway, so that's how far I got this month. I actually feel pretty good. Ironically, my favorite part of stitching this so far is the blue outlines, just because they're very methodical. The lines here, the double line, especially at the top, I don't know, they're kind of exhausting, honestly. So, but there's going to be a lot of that in this piece, obviously. So my goal for this is to be basically at the end of February to have 8 stars in 8 states. And I don't think that's going to be a problem. So yeah, so that was my progress on One Nation. And then the other thing I'm doing this year is I'm doing dark 13 stitching. And And for me, I'm going to do this on both the 13th and then any month that has a 31st. I'm going to do it on the 31st where I'm working on this piece, which is Lizzie Kate Boo Club Flippets. And I'm doing it, if you'll recall, on this 24 count orange binding. And so this last month on the 13th, in January on the 13th, I did that second chart, which was the treats with the candy corns. And then of course I pulled the border down as I went. So I am really, 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 really loving this. This is really fun. The 24 count, I'm not overly fond of, but it's turning out really nice. And I think I'm going to be really happy when it's all said and done. So tomorrow is the 31st, so I'm going to start the third chart. And honestly, even if it takes me into the first, which it probably will, I find that these little charts take about 2 nights of stitching for me. I will probably just finish that. So the next time you see this will probably be towards the end of February. And I may have 2 more charts done, because if I do tomorrow, pick up and do the third chart, and then on February 13th, pick it up and do the 4th chart, then I'll be 4 charts in, and I think there's 10 or 12 total. So I'll be making pretty good progress at that point. So anyway, so I'm really pleased with this. And this is, somebody asked me on my last video, I think, where I got this. I got this a few years ago at Acorns and Threads. Probably in the past 4 years, I got it at Acorns and Threads. I don't, in Portland, Oregon. I'm not sure if they would still have it or not, but you could certainly try. But it's 24 count orange binding is what it is. So anyway, and the reason why I saw this was because they had this, somebody had stitched it like this, and they had it as their, you know, as one of their showpieces. And I was like, I need that. And they had the banding. So it worked out really nice. Okay. So those were 2 of my whips for the month of January. And then the other 2 whips that I worked on were Whip Go whips. So my first whip coat, I think the first number was 2 in January. Was that right? Let me go look at my Whip Go board. Yeah, 2. And that for me fell to Knee High by Hands On Designs. And I had a wee bit of a start on it. I had the words done and a wee bit of the green. And my goal for Whipco on that number 2 was 3 days. And I was really hoping to be further along than this in 3 days, but that's a lot of block stitching. And I ran out of guacamole. So that's the other thing that I ended up ordering at Acorns and Threads was guacamole. So yay, they had it. My only concern was going to be dye lot, but it looks like it's going to work, and so I'm not going to be that concerned about it. And because there's so much variegation in that thread, I really don't think it's going to be a problem. So this did not come up as a Whipco number for February, so it will be put away for now, and we'll see if it comes up when it comes up again. I have it on my Whipco board 2 more times. I had thought potentially that 3 times at 3 days each would get me a finish, but with that block stitching taking me 3 days, the rest of it I don't think would be that bad, except for those of you who know this chart, and I don't have it, I'll try and maybe put a picture up right here, but there's a flag under here, and that flag is solid stitching, and it's way more block stitching than this. So I don't think I'm going to get it done in 6 more stitching days. So I will probably pick this up at some point on a non-Whipco month and finish that, and maybe get a start on that solid flag, so that maybe I can still finish it. My goal is to finish that this year sometime. Whether I do it because of Whipco or beyond, that's fine. So anyway, so that was the first Whipco number. The second Whipco number was Snow Village. And for my Snow Village, I have Snow Village on my Whipco board 9 times because I had technically 8 charts left, but one of them was the double one that falls in the middle. So 9, if you want to look at size wise. And so I put it on here 9 times. And so the idea is that at the end of the year, my Snow Village is done. So because each of the WIPCO board numbers for me is to do one chart. So usually those take me one of the little country cottage or little house charts. They're, you know, very much the same size. They take me a few days. 4 or 5 nights, depending on the situation. This one I worked on for about 8 days, but I didn't work consistently on it for 8 days. So I started it and 8 days later it was done. So I did that, and this little chart, snow cones, is the one that I did. So I have one row, the top row, done for Snow Village. And this is on 32 count Petty Point blue and white, and I love the way it looks. Now, I didn't realize until after I had started and I was actually done with the third one that I messed up and I did not start with the right chart. And when I say that, I mean, you can stitch however you want, obviously, but this is not the order in which she did this. And so I rethought, once I realized that I had not started with the right one in the upper left-hand corner, or the one that she did in the upper left-hand corner, I ended up rethinking. So this one is not in the proper spot per how she put it together, but it's fine. It's going to work out. And then the middle line will be the same. And there'll be some change ups on the bottom line. But either way, I love the way this looks. It's a lot of white. And so I think that's why this one took a bit of time for me, just because there was so much white in it. But they're turning out really nice, and I like the way it looks on this fabric. So I am going to be pleased with this when it's complete. So that's all the stitching I did this month, which was for me quite a bit of stitching. I hadn't stitched for a few months starting in August. Started back up in December a little bit. If I had been able to show my finishes, it probably would look a little bit more robust, but I got a lot of stitching done for me this month, so this is good. So really my February plans are just to continue on. I'm going to do the One Nation. So by the end of February, I want to have 8 states and 8 stars done. So I think that's very reasonable, considering I already have 6 stars done. I only need 2 more. And then really it's just the states. And if it was just the states, it would be fine. It's the lines in the middle that really kind of drag the time for me, but we'll get there. So do the One Nation. On February 13th, I'll do Boo Club. And by then I'll have hopefully 4 charts done. And then WIPCO. For February. So WIPCO numbers were called, as you all know, they get called on the 27th. So the first one that got called was 5, I believe. Yes, number 5. And for me, that is marked as a new start. Because when I went through and I put all my whips into WIPCO into a spot where I thought that I could finish most of them. One I will not finish. One is a Haid stocking and will not get finished with WIPCO calls. But there was two spots left, not including free. And so I put new start in on both of those, and for each new start, work on that for 3 days. So number 5 is a new start for me, 3 days on a new start. I don't know which one I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I could count this as a new start, but let's be honest, this is not going to take me 3 days. Melissa did hers almost all in one night. In 1 day of stitching. The only thing she had left with this was this branch at the top. So that's not 3 days worth of stitching. And I guess I could start it and it would count, but I'm not going to do that. This is just going to be extra stitching for me. But I'm definitely going to start this once I get the other one, because I feel like once I start this, I'm going to want to just keep stitching. So I'll probably roll right into number 2 once it arrives. So I did pick up in December the Barbara Allen Dreaming Girl Sal, which was Dreaming Miss Claus. I did pick that chart up, so I have that. I obviously didn't follow along as they released in November and December, but I do have that chart. I'll put a picture up here. And I may start that, because I have 2 or 3 of her Dreaming Girls, and I just haven't stitched any of them, but that one I really like. I don't know. We'll see. New start. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided. And then the other number that got called was number 19. No, that was January. Number 17 got called. And that is Snow Village. So I will be working on chart number 5 on Snow Village. And by the end of the month, I will be almost halfway done with Snow Village. So I don't remember what chart comes next, but I'll figure it out. And it's definitely going to be one with a house. I know that, because row number 2 has houses on each end, and then the Snow Village, the snowmen and the Snow Village banner in the middle. So there'll be another house coming, or another shop coming. So so those are my plans. So I've got One Nation, Snow Village, Lizzie Boo Club, Flippets, these, and probably another new start because of the Boopgo number. So another busy month, but that's all I've got. So anyway, so yeah, that's my stitching for January. Those are my plans for February. I hope everyone is doing really good and surviving winter, surviving this wave of the plague that we've got going on again, hoping that we can come out of this one, and hopefully things will start to move in a better direction for the year. I'm registered for StitchCon this year, for StitchCon in June, weekend B, and so I'm really hoping that we can move on and get to a place where I would be comfortable going to a retreat that has 300 people in a room. So fingers crossed. That's the goal. Be able to go to StitchCon in June. So hopefully things will start to look up, and hopefully you guys are all doing good. Hopefully as we move into February, we'll start to get a little bit of warmer weather. I know that there's parts of the country right now going through a snowstorm. We had ours in late December and early January. We had at one point, I had about 20 inches of snow on the ground here at one point over the course of about a week and a half or so. So I understand the effects of that. So really hoping that we can get past the rest of this winter with no more snow, but we'll see. We may get some snow this week still. So hopefully everyone's staying safe, and happy stitching. Have a good one. Bye.